I've got a few random sounds for you today. The first thing I'm going to play with is a resistance band, a resistance band, a resistance band, associated with exercising the body. And don't know if you know, but resistance bands, they're quite useful if you've had an injury, if you lifted a bit too heavy, and you need something that's a bit less impactful on the body, if you're travelling. And the other day I purchased 2 new resistance bands, and I'm just going to grab them for you now. And we're just going to play around with the sounds and see if there's any kind of ASMR to be gained from this. Bear with me. Flappy, flappy, flappy. So, I've got two resistance bands. They're different from the ones I've used before, in that these ones they're loops. This one is the lighter of the 2. This one is obviously the heavier of the 2. So we're just going to play around with them. Let's do them one by one first of all. Starting with the black band, the band that is black, the black band. This is from a company called Core Steady. So as I say, these are loops. If you're interested or curious, so I bought these particular ones because I actually injured my back last week. Kind of a funny story, but also not that funny. I think I sort of I think I pushed myself without warming up with some physical exercise, and I've just come out of having a bit of a cough, and it was a Sunday morning. Sounds like a song, this. And I was as I was drying my hair, I had a big old cough, and it just felt a click in my lower back as I did that, because when you've got a big old cough, it prompts your body to move in rather unnatural ways, and I suddenly thought, oh goodness, these are also quite good for assisting pull-ups and just making your everyday exercise a little bit more challenging. So we've got some aggressive sounds. It's funny, isn't it, how so many objects are used by ASMR artists to see what sort of sounds they make. And the people who created these objects and these products probably watching these videos thinking, we didn't actually make resistance bands for some British guy to just with. But that's what I'm doing right now. And if anything, it might actually prompt an interest in these kind of resistance bands if they make such good sounds. Now, I'm personally not a fan massively of aggressive ASMR triggers, or at least ones that I make. Let's just experiment and see if I can make a little at the same time trying desperately not to hit the microphone. You'll be pleased to hear that I've closed the blinds so that people from outside can't see, because these triggers, they're just for you and you alone. They're not for the people outside watching. Let's swap these round, let's go for the heavier one. Do you ever think sometimes to yourself that there's never truly ever any silence ever in the world? If you think that you know what silence sounds like and you have a good old listen, you'll actually hear other things going on in the background. You'll hear, I don't know, if you've got the heating on, you'll hear birds in the distance, you'll hear the wind. Sometimes you just hear odd random things. Similarly, if you close your eyes and you think that you can see nothing, you'll actually be able to see lots of different things. I always think it's quite cool when you close your eyes and you sort of think, you sort of start seeing different images and things. Lying in a field, looking up at the sun, but with your eyes closed, or on a beach, or somewhere where you don't mind lying down and getting your back all dirty. You look at the sun, but you close your eyes. Of course, the colours change from what you're normally used to seeing with your eyes closed. I'm trying to go as lo-fi as possible in this video, so therefore I'm trying to be as lo-fi in my edit as possible. I think I've hopefully edited out the truly horrendous sounds that there might well be with such objects. That was quite interesting. I might try that with the lighter one. It's not quite the same. This is turning into a slightly different video than I imagined. Here's another thought. This is one I often think of, and I find it really difficult to phrase exactly what I mean, but here goes. When you were 10 years old, you would have had the ability to remember what it was like to be 9 years old, right? When you were 9 years old, you had the ability to remember what it was like when you were 8 years old. You could probably remember back to when you were, I don't know, 6 or 5 years old. You could think back to things that you did and experiences you had. But talking of somebody who's a little bit older than 9 years old, thinking back, I can't really remember what it was like being 4 years old, apart from the odd flash of memory, but of course I can't be too sure. Now, just for sort of context, so I'm 31, and I can remember being 21. And when I was 21, surely I would have been able to remember being, I don't know, 11. I can still remember being 11, but what I'm trying to say is we can remember being an age like 10 years ago, but we can't remember remembering. Like, we can't find ourselves in a position where we can actually remember beyond the age. This is what I mean, I just can't really phrase it properly. Some of you might understand what I'm trying to say. In that, when I'm 41, I'll be able to remember being 31 and recording this video, but will I remember what it was like being 21? Because I suppose as you get older and you obtain more experiences and memories, you sort of find that your mind has been taken up with other things. And I don't know what I'm on about. I know what I'm on about, but I'm not very good at phrasing it. I'm not a very articulate person. I know what I mean in my head, but I am not very good at formulating it into words that people can understand. Maybe I'll bring it up again in another video, what I'm trying to get at. And I think such philosophy, paired with such vigorous rubbing of these exercise resistance bands, is just, well, that's just ASMR, right? Let's have a go at this again. I think I prefer the blue in terms of the potential for sound. I guess because of the surface area, you've got more squash. You've got more heft. I didn't know they'd be so slappy. try not to be so critical of the sounds that I make, the sounds that I don't like that I make, because ASMR is quite subjective. As I mentioned earlier, I'm not a huge fan of the aggressive sounds. I go into ASMR videos, I watch ASMR videos, and I'm struck by the things I didn't think I'd be struck by in terms of triggers. And there are things that I find really relaxing that I wouldn't have thought would be relaxing. So guys, I've got another video planned, and that is to go through some of the sounds that are on an app, a white noise app that I've been using for years and years and years. Spoiler alert, one of my favourite white noise, or the umbrella white noise sound is brown noise. I think brown and pink, possibly my favourite. But I'll be showing you some sounds on that app, and you can let me know which ones you like. Some people use white noise for their kids, for their children, their babies. Some people use it just for concentration, they don't use it for sleep, they just use it to kind of just block out any other external noise. Anyway, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. Wear my little scarf. Thanks ever so much for joining me again, and I hope that you enjoyed some of the sounds that were here. Some of them might be a little bit aggressive, some of them might be very, very strange, but also I think we learned today that we can make interesting sounds when we're trying to exercise, and that's quite a useful thing to know. So, you take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye for now.